Yo, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to D+Pad Life. And today, I want to talk about Bluepoint games. But before we get into that, I'm playing. I'm not gonna be all somber and sad, but yeah, it's time to talk about Bluepoint games. I don't know if you've heard, but that studio has been closed down, and I am personally pretty heartbroken about it. I mean, in the grand scheme of life, it just sort of is what it is, right? But as far as my gaming hobby goes and my gaming passion goes, this is a major loss as far as I am concerned. Bluepoint Games was one of those studios that PlayStation was in charge of, that they owned, that made stuff for me. They made stuff that I wanted, stuff that I liked, stuff that I had appreciated. And come to think of it, I don't know if they've done a single release that I have not checked out, or at least that I have not finished, played, or at least like checked out. I was looking forward to whatever they were going to release next as far as their next big project with PlayStation, and unfortunately those days are behind us. This PlayStation that we are working with nowadays is not the same as the one that I grew up with, and we're going to dig into that in this video a little bit. Honestly, that could probably be a topic for its own video, but we'll dig into that a little bit. But before we begin talking about Bluepoint, I want you to comment down below. Let me know what was your favorite game that Bluepoint put out. They made stuff like the Shadow of the Colossus remake, the Gravity Rush remastered port, the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection. They made the God of War collection, the Ico and Shadow of the Colossus collection way back on PS3. Man, they're even the reason something like this exists. They were the first ones to make an HD collection of Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, and Peace Walker. And in fact, Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2 has been announced, and they made it clear that the version of Peace Walker they're including is the one from the HD collection, which was a port that Bluepoint did. Bluepoint has made such incredible stuff for us to enjoy. They are keeping the classics alive, and they bring them back and make them gorgeous with quality of life improvements. And I mean, something like Gravity Rush, this was a Vita exclusive. A lot of people didn't even know this game existed. Sadly, people still don't. It's still a slept-on series. But Gravity Rush 1 is very special. There's not another game quite like Gravity Rush. And it's a shame. It's a shame that Bluepoint's gone. This, for me, is a major blow. Not just because Bluepoint is closed, but it's really showing that Sony and PlayStation are a completely new company. I think if you're someone who's part of gaming culture, especially like PlayStation culture, and you've been paying attention over the last few years and kind of watching the, what's the term I'm looking for here? The spokesperson for the company when they do things like presentations and whatnot, kind of like back in the E3 days. You've noticed a lot of changing faces, and you've noticed how people have come and gone, and there's been less and less of a presence there. And unfortunately, with just the nature of the industry as a whole, Sony has been doing a lot to try to keep up with that. And what I've been noticing lately is a lot of consolidation of studios, a lot of termination of studios, and a lot of shifting studios' focus to make the types of games that Sony really wants to make more money. A lot of live service games, for example. I mean, even the Killzone and Horizon guys, Guerrilla, they're now making a hero shooter for Horizon. I don't think anybody asked for that. I'm not even a Horizon fan myself, but I think what Horizon's fans want is Horizon 3. I don't think anybody's asking for a Horizon-themed hero shooter. It's just kind of strange, right? And unfortunately, fortunately, I don't know how you really want to look at it. For me, it's fortunate because I'm hoping Sony will kind of get back to what got them to the dance to begin with. Fortunately, all of those projects have failed. Every single one that they've tried to do, other than you could argue maybe Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 did well for them, but they kind of jumped on board on the tail end there. I don't know how. I might be wrong. My facts might be a little twisted, but from what I understand, they weren't like an immediate supporter of that game, trying to get that game over and trying to make that game a strong exclusive for them. It was just something they kind of attached themselves to along the way. And Helldivers 2, I mean, people still play it, but it's not what it was, right? Because these games come and go so fast. But their major projects like Concord, for example, have just been absolute disaster flop failures. And I think it goes to show that gamers want something different. And that's just one of the signs. One of the other things Sony has done is they closed Sony Japan Studios, and Gravity Rush was one of the last games that studio made. They also made Knack, another personal favorite of mine from PlayStation 4. And when they did that, that's how I knew things were shifting for the company. And now that they've closed Bluepoint, it's a big blow. To me, it shows that there's going to be less focus on their legacy content, because Bluepoint, in my opinion, has not made a bad remaster or port. Everything they've made has been phenomenal. They haven't made a mistake. And so for them to just be shut down unceremoniously, at least that's how it feels like. Maybe I'm making it a little personal. It's very discouraging. It's very discouraging. And it just adds another nail in that PS5 is probably going to be my last console coffin. I've discussed it in other videos, if the PlayStation 6 can play PS5 and PS4 games, I'll get a PlayStation 6. If it can only play PS5 games, I don't know, man. It's going to take something phenomenal for PS6 to be doing to really win me over, and it's going to have to be able to support physical, and games are going to have to be on the disc. Anything less than that, I'm not interested. Full digital is just not intriguing to me. I don't like to yield that level of control over my media, so I'm perfectly fine chilling in the past. I mean, that's one reason I own so many consoles, as you see here, and many of them I've done some work on them, you know what I mean? Like, they can play a plethora of things. And so this idea that potentially this is like a loss of legacy content, I mean, they still do. Maybe they feel like there's lost value because with the top tier membership of PlayStation Plus, you can play some PS1, PS2, PSP, and even some PS3 games. So maybe for them, that's the future and that's what they want to focus on. But it really alienates a gamer like myself and a fan like myself. There's a reason I own these. I love this sort of stuff. There's a reason I own this, I mean, I could have grabbed a bunch of other examples from my game shelf on compilations or collections or remasters or remakes that I personally love and enjoy, because a lot of the modern games, they're just not really, the term I'm looking for here, they're not really focused on the things about gaming that I value, that I appreciate. And, that's just too bad. That's just kind of the way it goes. But Bluepoint also made the God of War collection. They made the Metal Gear Solid Masters collection. They made the Demon's Souls remake. It was more of a remake, I guess. That was a PS5 launch title. That was the last major project that they released. And I had heard, I thought I had heard that they were working on something original. And I guess we'll never see that. I guess that'll never see the light of day. But it's pretty upsetting. It's pretty discouraging. I'm going to miss them. I'm going to miss Bluepoint. I'm going to miss Sony Japan Studios. Like, my two favorite studios now are just gone. And, the future is going to be intriguing for PlayStation. I think there's people that aren't even going to blink an eye at this, that aren't even going to notice. But I know for me, Bluepoint was something special. And it's just too bad. It's just too bad that this is going to be the end of them, unfortunately. So I don't know what else there is to say, really, other than I think this is a great opportunity for you to check out some of their work if you haven't yet. If you still own a PlayStation 3, check out that God of War collection. It's really great. If you still own a PlayStation 4 or still play on PS4, I mean, if you own a PS5, check out their work. Like, once you play the Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection, you'll never want to go back to the PS3 versions. This makes the PS3 versions completely obsolete. I mean, they have their merit, they have their value. Sure, you could just play those, but this is by far the superior way to play these. Gravity Rush Remastered is only going up in value. It's going to be one of the more sought out games in the future for PS4. I can almost guarantee that. It had a limited release. It was an Amazon exclusive, and it's just really, really good. It's an IP that ultimately I doubt we're going to see it again. There was Gravity Rush 1 and 2, and now here we are where there's low likelihood that we'll probably ever see anything. Like, this is crazy. I'm sorry, like, I started losing my train of thoughts and stumbling over my words because I flipped this over and I see both these logos side by side. And this wasn't something I even really noticed until today. And it's heartbreaking. It truly is. But sometimes that's just how it goes, you know what I mean? Things are here one day and they're gone tomorrow. That's life. You really gotta appreciate stuff while you have it. I guess if I had any message for this video, it would be, you know, practice some gratitude today. Practice some joy. Practice some celebration. Practice some acceptance of what you have and how it is actually enough. Because nothing is promised. Tomorrow is not promised. And this might seem maybe a little too deep or a little heavy or emotional just for the closing of a game studio, but I do think it helps to serve as a reminder that you don't know what you got until it's gone, and what's here today isn't promised for tomorrow. And I, for one, am always going to miss Bluepoint games. I am extremely grateful to them. I doubt anyone from that studio is going to see this video. I'm such a small YouTube channel, but if for some way, if one of the people working there came across this, thank you. Thank you for bringing some of the best games, some of my favorite games to the modern consoles. Thank you for making them as well as you did. Thank you for this more than anything. Gravity Rush, I love Gravity Rush. I bought a PlayStation Vita about a month after its launch because I played this at a demo kiosk. I returned to the same store 3 days in a row to play this more and more on a demo kiosk. And I knew I had to have this game. So when this came to PlayStation 4, I was over the moon. And it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for you guys. Or at the very least, maybe not as well done. And we may not have gotten that sequel. So I appreciate you, Bluepoint. I really, really do, deeply and truly. But with that, we'll wrap this one up. If you enjoyed this conversation today, I know it was a bit more of a sad, somber one, but it just kind of is what it is. I actually thought I'd lean into the emotion a little bit and give you guys a bit of a different vibe video, different paced video. But if you like the video, please give it a like. It goes a long way in supporting the channel. Really lets me know that I'm on the right track, making the type of content you guys enjoy. And if you appreciate the conversation, please consider subscribing. I upload 2 to 3 times a week, and there's always fresh topics and fresh content coming out. And your support means a lot. It does mean a lot. And don't forget to comment down below. Let me know what was your favorite project that Bluepoint released. And if you've got any fun memories or any thoughts around it, by all means, do share. Appreciate you guys. This has been D+Pad Life. I'll see you in the next one.